What's up guys, and welcome to another FGO video. This time we'll talk about the top 5 servants to save for in 2024. However, we could do it in two different ways. List every servant available in 2024 or just the new ones. I'll do only the new ones, but I'll make a disclaimer right now for servants you cannot miss again. So please, leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, turn on the notification bell, and let's jump into the video. Let's begin by some important mentions, and frankly, the best of the game, the big 5 of our meta. Koshei Sky of Light will be summonable in January as well as December. Morgan will be back in April and November. Castoria finally will be back in May. Malazine and Oberon are also back in December after 1 year and 1 year and a half respectively, so please do not miss those, as they are still the top brass of the meta even in the JP server. Number 5. Foreigner Koshei Sky of Darkness. Well, she is already out and about and won't disappoint you, as the only other buster AoE DPS that can outperform her are named Malazine, Morgan, or are not even in the game yet until 2025. I already talked about how she can buff the entire party with buster damage and NP gauge by 30%, and for 3 turns, how she can buff attack and defense for her and animal trait servants to allies, but let me focus a lot more about her passive and her skill tree. She has innate extra 20% damage against beasts and applying buff block on them like an animal tamer would. And her third skill does 2 things. 1. It enables debuff stacking so she can bypass defense and resistance during challenge quests and boss fights. And 2. She gains 3 turns of ignore invincibility, not 1 turn but 3, while also freeing your CE slots. Number 4. Pretender Lady Avalon. Personally, she is my number 1 of the year, but I can't let my own bias get the better of me. Proto Merlin was coveted since Fate Prototype, and furthermore since she was released in Fate Arcade. Now, she will be here during summer, and her kit can only be described as Blue Merlin or just loses to Castoria. Her skill 1, just like Merlin, is a 50% card buff for 3 turns, a 3000 HP buff for 3 turns, and a 100% crit damage buff for 1 ally for 1 turn. Her second skill is an improved one, with 20% attack for 3 turns and 20% NP gauge for the whole party, together with an overcharge NP buff. Her third skill is another improvement with invincibility for the whole party and NP absorption. She reduces the enemy's NP bar by 1 while getting 20% NP gauge back for each enemy. Her passives are also amazing, with Mixed Blood EX charging her NP gauge by 5% every turn, and her Bewitching EX starting her NP gauge at 20%, so pair that with mana loading and she always starts at 40% NP, and a good support NP at that, with a 5 to 10% NP charge every turn, 5 to 25 crit stars every turn, and a further increase in HP by 3 to 5000. If Castoria didn't exist, she could be higher on the list, but number 3 is the queen of her own meta. Number 3. Ruler Summer Skadi. When Skadi first came, she changed the meta for 2 whole years, making the infamous Dante double Skadi and Zerkalot double Skadi, the progenitor of NP looping. Now she is back to save quick cards by herself yet again. Her first skill is a 50% quick performance and a 100% buster crit for 3 turns. Note that even Merlin only gives 100% for 1 turn. Her second skill is a 3-turn party buff consisting on 20% attack buff, 15% buster buff, extra 15% quick buff, and 15 crit stars. Her third skill is a 50% NP gauge buff for 1 unit, together with more 15 crit stars and 5000% crit absorption for buster cards for 1 turn. And if you're missing a quick DPS to go with her, don't worry, she is the DPS. A powerful quick AoE anti-summer NP... Wait. anti-summer?
クリスマスも水着でお祝いしましょう。
Oh well, this can be a movie later. Number 2. Berserker Summer Ibuki Doji. If you haven't noticed it yet, the summer treatment always brings us an Arts AoE looper. First John Archer, then Summer Musashi, Summer Kiara, Summer Kama, and now Summer Ibuki, with the third highest attack in the game, even in the JP server, only losing to Jalter and Summer Kama. Ibuki is a menace, with a party buff consisting on 20% attack, 30% crit damage, and 30% NP gen rates. She has the same NP gen as Castoria. The second skill is a 30% buster and arts buff for one ally, while also reducing cooldown on one turn. Finally, her third skill is a 50% NP gauge buff with 5000% crit absorption and 10 crit stars per turn for 3 turns. To further increase her buster cards, she has 14% extra buster damage just in her passives. Lastly, her NP, as mentioned earlier, is a 5 hits arts AoE that removes all defense buffs before attacking, while also dealing extra 150% damage against Earth enemies. Don't forget, since she's a Berserker, she has innate 10% extra damage and 50% damage against almost every other class. She will not let down any one of you, and you will never ever need another arts looper after that. Besides, well, Summer John, Summer Kama, and Summer Musashi for waifu reasons. Now for honorable mentions. This year we are receiving 35 new units, so here is a few of them that if you're interested in, you should save further. Hephaestion during the Lady Rhaenys rerun, Bazette during Valentine's, Super Bunyan, Constantine, Charlemagne, Moriarty, and Kriemhild during Tron, Summer Garrett, Summer Utsumi Eris, and Summer Wuzetian during Summer 7, and Britomart near Christmas. And the number 1 spot on the list goes to Moon Cancer, Arcuade Brunistud, the archetype Earth. First of all, she has an unique summon animation. Secondly, her passives. Having debuff resistance is nice. Having 10% crit damage and 12% arts performance is great. Having 30% performance in Arts Buster and Quick is completely insane. Sure, she needs to use her NP to activate the passive, but is still a bar set to low. Why? Because her second skill gives 100% charge as well as 20% NP damage for 3 turns. Yes, she is a Black Grail 3-turn NP looper. Her first skill seals enemy skills while giving 3-turn 20% death break, while buffing her attack for 30% for 3 turns. Her third skill gives power invincibility for 1 attack and charges everyone else NP gauge by 30%. All that for a Buster AoE NP that enables her Millennium Castle and deals extra 150% damage against chaotic enemies, while also charging from 20 to 40% NP gauge for living humans allies. Now for closure, if you already have the big 5, if no one I said even made you flinch, then keep saving those quartz, because the next year we have none other than Tiamat, Draco, and Rayquaza. So that's it for today's video. If that was helpful, or you have other opinions, then please leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, comment down below, and catch you later.